What's up, guys? We're back here in the Beat Laboratory. Had a good ride yesterday. Today we're going to get into proper washing of a dirt bike. Might seem simple, but there are a lot of steps you can follow to kind of simplify things and make your bike look and feel fresh. Maintenance in between rides, tools required, things like that. There's a couple other videos on YouTube that go into it. I don't agree fully with some of those things, and they might overcomplicate it a little bit. I think we can make this quick and easy for you guys and give you some good tips to keep your bike feeling good and looking good for every ride. Let's get into it. Let's get into the supplies needed when washing a dirt bike. First and foremost is going to be your Scotch-Brite pad. I prefer green. That's going to help on all of our aluminum parts, get that shine back. Next one's our magic eraser. I like cutting this into like quarters. This is going to help get any black marks off your plastic, some parts of your metal as well, so like exhaust, things like that. Next one's going to be our air filter wash cover. That way we can pull that air filter, get a good clean on the air box, and make sure no water gets into your intake. Next one is Dawn dish soap, and that's going to be mixed. It's like 10 to 1 with water. Dawn dish soap is what's preferred by a lot of kind of factory teams. A lot of the big time guys, they're using just the Dawn dish soap mixture. Gives it a nice shine, and it's a degreaser, so it's going to pull out a lot of that dirt and black marks, especially out of the aluminum. Cheap and easy to come by. Don't need anything fancy in my opinion. Then a few brushes. I like having a little bit tougher bristle brush for like tires, things like that. Softer bristle brush for things like your plastics that could scratch with a stiffer brush. Then I like having a small kind of stiff brush here. I'm going to use that to get into some of those harder to reach areas around your engine, swing arm, things like that. So for prep pre-wash, I like using these twin air box covers. You can see kind of all that dirt inside of there. This allows you to get in there, clean it off, scrub it down, make sure that air box is getting clean, no dirt or debris inside of it, and then making sure you're not getting any water or anything like that in your intake. Next thing is going to be pulling the seat. As you can see, we got quite a bit of dirt in here. We're gonna pull that seat to get that dirt cleaned up, and then also these seats kind of absorb a lot of that water. We like to make sure that the water doesn't get underneath that seat cover into the foam and start breaking it down and making it soft over time. I'm doing kind of a more basic wash today. Usually if the bike's dirtier or I haven't done this in a little bit, I like taking it a step further. I'll pull these shrouds and I'll pull the tank. That's going to allow me to get underneath, get up on top of this engine, get it cleaned up underneath the tank, and then give me better access to the frame to get it scrubbed down, which we'll be doing here in a little bit. That's definitely the way that the factory mechanics are going to be doing it. They're always going to be pulling fenders, things like that. I like to do that. Today we're just going to do kind of a more basic wash, something that's more realistic to do between rides and not burn you out over time. All right, we're out here in the wash area. First thing I want to point out, it's pretty obvious. Try to wash in on some rock or concrete or something like that. Obviously when you wash in dirt, you're going to get mud all around and just kind of muddy up your tires, kind of make the bike look like crap again. That's what we're trying to avoid. So we tip the bike on the side to start. Reason being, we can pull off this skid plate here, as well as hit the areas that you might not see if the bike's upright. Things I like to focus on are our linkage area here, kind of underneath your swing arm, air box area, things like that, bottom of the radiators. I know some of you guys, probably East Coast guys, are freaking out saying your bike's not even dirty. We live in the desert, West Coast, you guys get it. It's hard to get a bike dirty if you don't go to a nice prep track day. So don't dwell on that too much. Obviously you guys know how to pressure wash mud off a bike. I'll get into that real quickly here in a second, but just bear with me. I understand the bike's not dirty, but kind of more focused on getting it cleaned up, shining. Things like these scuff marks, engine cases, things like that. That's what we're going to focus on. On the mud situation, if the bike was muddier, I'd be hitting it with this Ryobi electric power washer. I personally am a huge fan of electric power washers. I like not having that extra pressure of a gas gas pressure washers, sometimes it can get, you know, a little bit too aggressive. If it's extremely muddy, you know, you East Coast guys, again, maybe that's required. No matter how muddy my bike gets, I like using these pressure washers. The Ryobi one's real nice because it's direct. You just put the hose right here. Don't have that extra tank off to the side. If this bike was muddier, I would first give it a pre-wash. Kind of hose it down, get the water, you know, get the dirt wet essentially, get it to start, you know, breaking down, getting ready to fall off. In this situation, I'm just going to give it a pre-hose and start scrubbing and spraying. All right, we're going to start using our Dawn dish soap water mixture here and just start spraying down all those kind of under spots. I like to focus on under the fenders, under the radiators, bottom of the cases here, linkage area, swing arm, underneath this rear fender. Don't need to go too crazy on this pass because we're going to tip the bike up and get the top side stuff. This is just that stuff that's not visible when it's sitting on the stand. We're going to take our soft bristle brush here and just start scrubbing down, basically lathering up like you would when you're soaping your hair. And we just want to scrub that Dawn dish soap in, break up that dirt, and get ready to shine. Gonna hose off what we scrubbed down. All right, got the bike back upright. Gonna start really getting into the cleaning. Just an important point is make sure your tires are off the ground. That way you can give them a good spin when you're scrubbing them down. I kind of break up the scrub down into four different parts: the back, the side, front, and then the other side. So I'll scrub, wash, scrub, wash, scrub, wash. This is where I'm going to take my stiffer bristled brush and start scrubbing out these tires. I know it might seem kind of crazy to some, but gives it that nice shine, makes the tires look new when they're not new. And while we're at it, we're going to scrub our chain and sprockets. If you properly lube your chain, you're going to have grit and grime that builds up. And this is going to help clean up your chain a little bit. You can see that dirt kind of starting to run down the swing arm. Got her all scrubbed down, sudded up. Gonna rinse it off, reveal the clean. For the airbox, you're not going to get it perfectly clean with these scrub brushes. I usually come back with a microfiber rag and get that residual, just that air filter oil, kind of traps all that dirt, but this definitely gets us a good start and gets us cleaned out pretty well. Next piece is extremely important to me, is scrubbing down your aluminum parts on your bike, specifically the frame. Nothing grinds my gears more than someone rolling up with a washed bike but with those black boot rub marks. We're going to take this green SOS pad. Very simply, on this part of the frame I go pretty light. We don't want to get too big of scratches in there. We're just trying to shine it up. This is the more important part to me. On the lower end of it, we're going to really, you almost like cut into it. You push your finger really hard and you kind of just start scrubbing all that black stuff out of there. Work your way down. You're gonna see it start to kind of sud up, really dirty, like. You're just gonna keep hitting it like that. Come back. You wanna be careful you don't leave some uneven scratches there. Hit our brake pedal. You notice I kind of just work my way around. We're moving that dirty stuff forward. While we're here, we'll scrub cases real quick. They're not too dirty, but give them a little bit of love. This would be a good time if you had any boot marks here on your header. Give it a nice light scrub. And we'll reveal that nicely clean frame. One thing that's important, you'll notice I waited too long. We still got some of that dirty black kind of soap stuck in the aluminum, so I'm gonna go back and scrub that out. Here we're gonna take our magic eraser, start hitting these black marks, usually on the shrouds as well as your side panels from your boots and knee braces. Another important note, while you're working on things like scrubbing down your aluminum parts, magic eraser, maybe scrubbing your skid plate, is making sure the bike stays wet. I know it's kind of an OCD thing, but water spots are the devil, especially on your aluminum parts. So as I'm kind of working on this other stuff, every so often I come and re-soak the bike down, especially as the sun has come out recently. It's going to really dry this up quickly, so we want to be constantly keeping it wet, making sure that we don't get those water spots to bake in. All right, got my boots scrubbed down. For the seat, I just take a wet microfiber and wipe it down. Side panel I took off, skid plate, and now the bike is ready to go in and get dried off. All right, back in the garage, got the bike still wet. Got it out of the sun before we start getting those water spots like I was talking about earlier. We're gonna take now our leaf blower and our microfiber as well as our air compressor and start getting her dried off. All right, so we use our leaf blower to get kind of the main stuff off here. When using the leaf blower, we're going to pay a little extra attention to things like our hubs, wheels, bearings, things that spin, your radiator, engine area, airbox, things like that. Just try to get that trapped water out of there. So now we got the bulk of our water off, kind of the big stuff. Now we're going to use our microfiber towel and just start wiping down everywhere. The things I pay attention to most are going to be like your hubs, your wheels, that sort of stuff. Kind of give it that final wipe down frame, make sure that it's staying dry, none of that residual water hanging out. Now we got the majority of the bike wiped down. We're gonna take our air compressor nozzle. We're gonna hit some of the key parts. I like hitting these controls, your throttle, brake pivot points, anything electrical. Gonna get that blown out on top of your engine. Very important. There's a lot of electronics there, electronics here, and then again your bearings and kind of your pivot points. I'm personally not a fan of starting the bike when it's wet. I don't find it to be necessary. I've washed probably 1,000+ bikes, or 1,000+ times, and I've never had an electrical issue. I do put dielectric grease in all my electrical connectors frequently. I think that might help contribute to it, but that's not a step I find to be necessary. Once I have the bike totally dried off, I'm gonna hit my things that need lube. First and foremost is gonna be your chain, and then your little pivot points, things like your foot pegs here, shifter, if you have a Kickstarter, and then later on, I'll come back, pull my lever here, grease it, by grease I mean oil, and then just pull off my throttle tube, make sure it's gonna be grip free and spinning nice and free. After we get these pivot points lubed up, I'm gonna drop my oil, put some fresh oil in there, obviously a fresh air filter, do a bolt check, spoke check. I'll do another video going more into detail of what rides what maintenance I do between rides, as well as between motos when I'm riding, making sure we're not gonna have any issues, any parts falling off, anything coming out of adjustments, and make this bike feeling and looking new at all times. That's a wrap. Got the bike lubed up, filter change, fresh oil. She's ready for the next ride. Again, I'm gonna get a little bit more into maintenance on these next videos, but this should get you started. Wanted to show you how to keep this thing shining and feeling fresh. See you next time.